site on the Atlas V will be the 17th time NASA has flown a spacecraft on this rocket.
Yes, live. Yes, hi guys. We're live again. And yes, live. Hmm. Yes, live. Finally. So yeah, exciting day. Launching Insights. Hi. So today we are using a variant of ooh, let me see. The Atlas 5. This is the one from the GOES. So um yeah, no boosters today, so let's get rid of those. And it has a different fairing. And today's launch is also special because instead of um, using the pad at Cape Canaveral, they use Vandenberg, and they use Vandenberg because they wanted to free up some launch slots on the other side of the coast. So instead of the east coast, they're using the west coast. Nice model, thanks. They're using a different fairing though. This is the larger 5-meter fairing, but right now they are using a 4-meter fairing. I don't have the model, but it's it's less wide, uh, or it is just as wide as the booster, but the center is um, less wide. So it goes like it goes in, then you have the center, then it goes out, and it's the fairing it, as you will see in a few seconds. The rocket uses a single or actually, um, um, it's a dual chamber single engine. It's a RD 180. It's a Russian engine. After the Cold War, they imported all the engines because they're really good. They can do something which Americans um, couldn't. They are more efficient than American engines, so that's why they use it. Um, then on the upper stage we have the RL10, which is a cryogenic engine which uses hydrogen and oxygen. It's the most efficient engine they use, but that's because of the fuels and not because of the way they work. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for this launch. On Insight, today Insight will launch, and as you can see, the fairing, as I explained, it's different than the fairing on my model. What they use, or today they're launching it in a polar parking orbit, and then when it approaches the North Pole, they will ignite the engine for a second time, and then they will launch it onward to Mars. Um, ex Insight is not the only spacecraft on board today. We also have two CubeSats, Marco A and Marco B. They are what we call 6U, so 6 unit CubeSat. Oh, we have the poll. Let's listen to what they have to say, if we're go or no go. We have 2 hours, so if something is not go, we have 2 hours to fix it. Go. There were no. Yeah, but the Vulcan, there's still not. There's also a Air Force engine, which is the RA1, and it's kind of the government wants them to use that engine, but ULA wants to use the B E4, so they're not still not sure what engine they're gonna use. So yeah, in 5 minutes we will have a launch, and it will take about 8, 9 minutes, maybe 10, to reach the parking orbit. Then we'll have an hour of ghost phase, and then we'll have the engine restart once they come up on flying over the North Pole. Um, so yeah, after Insight is released uh, from the rocket, they will release Marco A and Marco B. There are six A's or 6 unit CubeSats, so they're 20 centimeters in width. They're 30 centimeters long, and their height is 10 centimeters, so they're 10 by 30 by 20. Um, they will be the first CubeSats to go interplanetary. The it's the they will test on their way to Mars. They will test the miniaturized version of communication software. They have deployable solar panels. Then they will have a sort of communication disk coming out. Um, they will relay the entry, descent, landing data from Insight. Oh, they just released the hold. So we still go. But afterwards they will not be used, but it will be kind of a demonstration mission. And they don't know if they're gonna survive to Mars. There are two, because one could fail for some reason. And yeah, so exciting. Two CubeSats sort of flying information. Um, and they don't have engines, so they won't be able to correct their course. InSight has 4 scheduled correction maneuvers on their way to Mars. It will land on Mars on the 26th of September. So yeah, let's go. Oh, and a little for me. Tonight I will be continuing building the Delta IV rocket, which is exciting. And I will be showing you guys my new intro. I have a new intro fixed. I will hope I get it fixed on my computer. And so yeah, exciting. Now, first launch. Let's see if they... Coming up in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Oh yeah, and those CubeSats are not at the top, they're at the bottom. Just above the engine they have a dispenser which holds the 2 spacecraft, and they're spring-loaded. So once they deploy the CubeSats, they will have a spring which like shoots them away. There we go. Launch. Launch, launch, launch. I don't know if we're gonna see everything of the launch, but because of the fog, but let's hope we do. Or we can. Go Android. Six. There we go. Ignition. Liftoff, yes. We have liftoff. So, if everything is okay, we should see the spacecraft land on 26th of September. Oh, there we go. Infrared images. Nah. Let's go. Go, go, go. There we go. Martin Malinowski is giving us launch data. So yeah, these are live images you see from the boosters, and you will see the plume of the engine expand as the atmospheric pressure gets lower and lower. and we have passed max Q, and because the engine is really built to be most efficient just above sea level, the plume will expand, and the because as it leaves the nozzle, the ambient pressure is so low it will just um, move until it has the same pressure as the ambient pressure. And that's why mostly they use two engines, one on the main stage to get it through the atmosphere, then one on the second stage, which is built for a vacuum, so a vacuum engine. And now they've enabled closed loop steering, so the rocket knows where it is, and it's correcting for every minor, yeah, sort of course, but it's not really going of course, but it's correcting its trajectory in real time, so it knows where it is, it corrects it, and that's what closed loop steering is. And we will hear him call out activating pyro valves, which is how fast does it go at sea level? What do you mean with how fast it goes at sea level? And you will hear him call out activating pyro valves. Wait, and now open closed loop steering is finished. So right now it's I think holding at prograde, which is giving it most speed for the second stage, so the second stage can make orbit. So right now it's only or it's holding a pre-programmed attitude, so it gives them the most optimal speed to the second stage. Oh, how fast does it accelerate? Looking at the footage, it was, I think the thrust to weight ratio wasn't really high, so it was 1.2. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, I get in pictures. Pico? Separation? And live. Yes, there you can see it. Um, Looking at the footage, it was I think about 1.2 thrust to weight ratio. So it accelerated at I think mm, uh, what is it then 2, 3, 4, 5 meters a second, but it quickly becomes higher and higher, the acceleration, until 4 Gs, so that's, let's say 4 times 10, 40 meters a second. It's a little lower, but for calculation purposes, I will keep it at 10. It's not 10, I know. And then the booster adjusts the thrust of the engine to keep the acceleration at 4, so it doesn't overstress the payload. And for the sensor, it's really special because it adjusts its mixture ratio. So I don't know really why it does it, but it has to do with performance and temperature control, and so it has individual pumps, and it can let yeah each candidates, yeah, that's true. So every it can control the speed of those two pumps. So uh, the normal mixture is slightly oxidizer rich, so you don't have a really high temperature, and um, really high temperature so the nozzle doesn't melt. But if it needs more performance, needs a little more thrust, it can adjust those settings. So it gets oxidizer, there's more oxidizer, so the thrust gets a little higher, but of course it can't keep it for that long or the nozzle get overheated. So that's a really special type of stage, and it's really capable for because yeah, as you saw, or as you might know, it launched Juno to Jupiter. It launched the heaviest spacecraft to Mars, which was Curiosity, and it will yeah. So it's a really special rocket. And as you see, yeah. So normally when spacecraft go to other planets, they launch from the East Coast. So that's because they can. The Earth is tilted 24 degrees, and when you launch from Cape Canaveral, and you launch on the right time, you launch on the plane, which is the Earth. So if you have the Earth spins around the sun like this. But the Earth is still at 24 degrees. So would you launch? You would have an inclination. Launch on the wrong time, and you will have an inclination of 24 degrees around the sun. It will get you nowhere. So when they launch at just the right time, they can get it right, and the inclination at 24 degrees, so, which is the actually if you launch from Cape Canaveral, you can get into an orbit inclined at 24 degrees. Um, Thank you. If you can, so if you have the Earth, and if you launch from Cape Canaveral, you can get into a 24-degree inclined orbit. Mostly so if you launch at the right time, this will end up just right. So when you shoot into interplanetary space, you will have a zero inclination or near zero inclination orbit. You can get everywhere with this. And that's why they use the West Coast also. But if you use the East Coast, you can only get into a polar orbit. So, which means you can't really get anywhere when you launch down, up, anywhere. You can get into a really high inclined orbit, but there are 2 points on this orbit where you can, and that's the North Pole and the South Pole. If you eject on these points, you can get um, into an orbit which leaves you like shooting past the Earth into a little higher inclination orbit than zero, but it's still okay. But the West Coast can't launch northwards because it launches over areas which people live in, so they have to go by the South Pole. But if they launch right now and eject over the South Pole, they're going to go the wrong direction. So, if they have the stages still going, oh, it's still going. Is it still going? Yeah, it still is. I had to check. No. Um, but so that's why they eject at the North Pole. So yeah, and they wanted to clear up the schedule on the East Coast, so that's why they said, well, this rocket can do it on the West Coast, so let's do it on the West Coast. And this is the first interplanetary mission on the West Coast. So yeah, this is really special. Long story short, it's going. Yeah. So yeah. Hi, Simon. Yes, it was a cracking launch. It wasn't as fast as the last launch, like the Ghost S or the APS something 11. So yeah, and there you will see that it's still not orbital. So that's why they need really to get everything out of the last fuel from the lower stage, and the reason why it's still not orbital is the upper stage is has really high efficiency, but it doesn't have a lot of thrust. So that's why you see it pitched up like this. So it keeps its horizontal or its vertical speed, it keeps it up, while pushing out its vertical or its horizontal speed, and that's how it gets to orbit. And um, yes, we are in orbit finally. So they will have about 4 minutes. Or so they have a ghost face for an hour, so we have time for questions. Finally, um, and right now we have an hour. After an hour, it will ignite its engine. So yeah, um, we have a ghost phase for an hour. We have a reignition for 2 minutes or 4 minutes, which will put it on a trajectory to Mars, and it will ignite when it's so right now it's going if you have the Earth and you have the west coast here, it will go underneath over the South Pole, then it will go up over I need to it's probably going up over Russia somewhere. Then it will reignite its engine. Then it will come over to the North Pole, and it will. I think when it's right above Alaska somewhere, it will shut off, and then it will go on to its Mars mission. It will separate inside, separate Marco A, Marco B, and then it will. We have to wait for eighth. We have to wait till September, and then we have the exciting. I think it's more exciting than the landing, or than the launch. We have the landing. So yeah, no SRBs. Yeah, and because it has no SRBs, it accelerates a little slowly, but it still gets into orbit. Comes back up over India. Yeah, but it doesn't ignite its engine over India. It ignites it somewhere over Russia, and then because if it ignites it over India, it will shoot up, and then it doesn't get it. It doesn't come back over to. It can't get to Mars. It has to ignite close to the poles, and if they ignited it close to the South Pole, they will shoot into a retrograde orbit. They will go to Mercury somewhere, and they want to go to Mars. So yeah, as she said, we don't aim it right at Mars because otherwise the center stage will crash into Mars. Do you know how Wally and Eva will be injected into Mars orbit? Um, I have to re-watch the movie, but I don't know. I'm not sure. So yeah, um, we can talk about landing. I'm gonna turn down the sound on. So, um, when it reaches Mars, it will first of all the blue things you can see behind the red the yellow circle. The yellow circle is the heat shield. The blue thingies are the oh, you mean the CubeSats? You mean Marco A and Marco B? Yes, they will not be injected into Mars orbit. They don't have engines. They will. After I explain this, I will continue my story on Insight. They will after they separate. They're not at the top. They're at the bottom. They're at the bulkhead which connects the stage to the engine. They're in a dispenser, in a CubeSat dispenser because they're CubeSat. They will deploy a few minutes after Insight, and after they deploy from Insight, they will unfold their solar panels, but they don't have engines, so they will just fly past Mars on a reasonably distance because they don't have engines, um, and they will test the communication hardware, which is miniaturized on the CubeSats. But if they survive their journey to Mars, they will relay the entry, descent, landing data from Insight, and then they will fly on, and they probably will be deactivated, or they will be kept active to continue testing the hardware. So they will not be injected into Mars orbit. And besides these CubeSats relaying the data, probably one of the satellites around Mars, so Mars Reconnaissance Orbit, Mars Express, TGO, or Maven probably has a relay hardwire, and there's one more, but I forgot its name. One of these will probably relay the satellite, the EDL data too, and I think maybe they are gonna test the relay hardware on TGO because it hasn't been really tested. Well, it was Skip rarely crashed, but lost in space forever. Yeah, sad, but they don't have a mission otherwise. So yeah, I was talking about Insight. As you can see, you had the red, the yellowish circle that was looking at the heat shield, and the blue part, so the blue sort of wings, were the solar panels, and that's what they call the cruise stage. It has a few engines, and they will do all the EDM is what they call it. Is I don't know what it stands for, but it's a correction of the trajectory which puts it on a collision course with Mars. So about 8 minutes before entry, they will separate the crew stage, which has provided it with power for the whole journey. Then they will point it heat shield to exactly to the Mars. They it's there because Mars' atmosphere is 1% of the Earth's, but when you crash into it with 8 kilometers per second, you will still burn up if you don't have a heat shield. Hey, so yeah, oh no, so that's why they have the heat shield. They will also be landing in dust season. So the heat shield was made extra thick, so when they go into the atmosphere and there's a lot of dust, it will basically sandblast the heat shield, and that's why they made it um, even thicker. After the heating subsides, so that's after about 4 minutes, I think, they will deploy a supersonic parachute, which is stronger than the one on the Phoenix mission, which you might remember was launched in 2008, which landed on the poles. Um, then, after they slowed it down, it will separate the heat shield. The radar of InSight will turn on, and then when they're at 1.1, so 1,100 meters, they will separate the InSight lander. It will fall for a few hundred meters. Then at 900 meters, its engines ignite. Its legs deploy. So, and when it reaches about 5 meters per second, it will throttle down the engines. So it will land softly at 5 meters per second. After it touches down, deploys its solar panels, deploys its camera mast arm. It will, of course, look around. Then it will first deploy the seismograph. It will pick it up, put it on the uh, put it on the Martian surface. So first it will look for rocks or a appropriate place to put it. Then it will put it down the cover, which goes on top of the cube or the sort of or the what is it called again? The seismograph. It will put it on top, and then it will look around again for rocks, where to put the drill. So they will put the drill down, and all of this is going to take 10 weeks. And after that, they will drill down to they hope 5 meters, and this will be done in steps. So they will have a drilling, then they will have a cooling period, and the drill also has a heating element. So they want to test the property of the soil around it. So they heat it up, and then they measure it cooling down again. Then afterwards they're gonna hammer it deeper, and they will stop it again, heat it up, then cool it down. So that's how this mission is gonna work. And I hope we're gonna have a long-lasting mission on this on the surface. So yeah, any other questions? Ask away. They said 2 years. Yeah, probably yeah, depends on how much dust accumulates on the solar panels, and hopefully it will have a lot of dust devils cleaning its solar panels. Well, are they still there, your family? Just let them ask questions. I will answer them. I have no problem. So after they deploy it, we have to wait for 8 months. Could be anything rocket related. I think even gonna be people on that thing. No, that's every question I get when watching a launch or viewing a launch somewhere in school. Sometimes I get, are there people on that? So yeah, it's a relatable question. So yeah, nah, you're watching alone. Okay. Also, the Phoenix lander, I believe, was photographed by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter while it was under parachute. I will look for some pictures. Wait, let me do it. Okay, so I'll mute this. Um, see if I have some music so I can put on while we wait. No, I can't. Let's just go. So Um, um, uh, so they had it land. I can show you. Oh, it was landed near the North Pole. Oh, I'm messing this up. Um, but it was photographed under parachute. Yeah, there it is. By the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. I hope you can all see this. Um, I hope we get some pictures from this again. That would be cool. So yeah, nah. So as you can see, you can make out the solar or the solar panels that are not down there. Um, um, I'm not watching it. Watch muted. Yeah, I just muted the sound. I did because I wanted to show you this, but you want the sound on. Okay. But as you can see, this was the photograph Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter took while this was landing. So I hope we can get some new pictures of this, which will be would be really cool. So yeah, turn back to the stream. I need to check. Oh, is it muted? Hmm. Don't got my cursor. Hmm. Oh, no, I didn't mute it. I turned it down. because they were talking. No, I turned it down because I was. Oh no, I didn't mute it. I turned it down. So yeah, sorry, you can hear me twice, but I'm no, I muted it because I was gonna talk about the Inside Lander, and if you have me talking and you have them asking questions and answering questions, it was really I think it was really confusing, so that's why I turned it down. So yeah, as you can see, it's right now it's going over the South Pole. So yeah, and we have some. Uh, let's watch some launch replays. Hopefully they have some better footage as we had. Come on, I want to watch this. So yeah. Oh, I have some. Sorry, I'm uh, keeping my Twitter in. Wait. These are doing. Huh? Ooh, block 5. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is yeah, the original list of cameras. Well, Iridium 1 or 2 had the same problem. Um, um, yeah, no, I need. The Iridium 1 or 2 had the same thing. There was a layer of fog just above the launch pad, so interesting attitude of. Yeah, it's doing its what it's called its barbecue roll. So to keep to prevent one side of the spacecraft heating up too much, they roll it around, and probably they will have a second sort of spin to it, or they are actually in the right position for the second burn right now, because the Earth actually spins underneath it. So they're at the South Pole right now, and they're like positioned like this. So when they come up on the north side, they don't have to adjust their attitude anymore. No, they're not RCS problems. They are doing a barbecue roll, and they have um, put it on correct attitude for the second burn, so they don't have to turn it anymore. But they're doing this barbecue roll to prevent this from overheating, so they're spinning it slowly at a few rotations, or a few minutes per rotation, so they can keep it. So just like you do with a steak, you heat it evenly. That's what they're doing. That's why they call it a barbecue roll. Or when you have a something like a chicken on a spit, you turn it slowly to keep it evenly heated. That's what they do. So basically, Rocketry is once you are in a parking orbit, it's the same kind of thing as barbecuing. So it's space barbecuing. Let's call it a space barbecue. I think that's funny. I like this. Yeah. So as you can see, it's not really in a full polar orbit because it's not really going over the poles. It just passes the poles. But this is also what we call a polar orbit because it goes from pole to pole. So I think we just have to wait for another few minutes. So yeah, you can see it. It's having the correct attitude because when it is at the other side of the Earth, it's pointing up. It's pointing 180 degrees or something. Yeah, I don't really know. I can't figure out which position it's in because it's basically ocean what we see. Yeah, it is. So, as I just explained, it's already at a correct attitude for its second burn. So, when it's at the other side of the Earth, it's at the. Right now, if it's fires, it goes directly into the ground. But when it's on the other side of the Earth, it has the correct attitude. And as I called it the space barbecue, it's right now it's doing the space barbecue. It's doing its barbecue roll. That's I just told everybody here. It's doing its barbecue roll. It's grilling the spacecraft evenly. I wonder if they have installed cameras on the looking at the CubeSat deployments. That would be interesting. Okay, I need to check my battery level because what I probably pressed F5. Um, sorry guys, but this is in a ghost phase anyway. Okay. Flying burger. Yeah, it's basically a flying hamburger or a flying chicken. You could compare it to a flying chicken, which is grilling in the sun. But yeah. Okay, so while you listen to this, I'm gonna get another of these um, cables because this one is really short and I have to be like this. I feel like this all the time. So yeah, sorry. Oh, this one is long enough. I like it well done. I left the sound on. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Oh, is this the sound turned off again? Wait, let me fix this. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Ugh. My sound is better when I use my other thingies. Oh, is this the sound turned off again? Wait, let me check this. Um. My sound is better when I use my other. Okay, I need to really like my microphone is better. So you will hear me twice now. Oh no. Um. Hmm. 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 So, yeah. Your sound has been fine throughout. Yeah, it's blah 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 anyway. But is it uh okay like this? I think I wanted to do it on my, let's say, laptop. I have it now with the chat open anyways. But I as soon as I hit start stream, it went okay for a bit. But then it said decoder or encoding something was overheating. So I was like, okay, then not. So um, can you still hear the music from the live stream? Because I'm not sure if that's okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh, oh, I think this was. I think this is it. Ugh. Ah! Stupid cable. Okay, you can still hear me? Still hear me? Ugh. This is what I like about wireless stuff. Because I'm in another room and you can still hear me. Fun. Okay. I have a new intro, by the way. I was going to preview it or actually show it today, but I couldn't get it finished in time. But yeah, it's almost finished. I only have to like put it together. The self yeah, it is. It's a really cool idea. It's yeah. Also, they can go deeper than with a normal drill, like they would send uh, to Mars, because they don't have a lot of space. So to get a 5 meter drill, they would have a really far, or is it not attached? Something is loose. Okay, but they can't get deeper, because if they have they needed to have a drill the length of 5 meters to get down, and it doesn't just fit into the fairing. So yeah, it's really neat. So yeah. Bleh. Why does it sound creepy? Self hammering probe. So yeah. These are pictures of Phoenix, because the Phoenix lander was basically almost the same spacecraft, or on only with other instruments. Yeah. Craving a Carstone. Yeah. Wow. Now we have to wait. We're coming up on the second burn, but yeah, it's not really my final one, but I did a sort of extra one. Better than my other one. Yeah. But anyway, I'm continuing to build the Delta 4 tonight. So if you all want to join in, you're welcome to join. Self-stabbing probe. No, no, don't. Oh, lol. So yeah, after the stream, I will be, I think, immediately ending it. Not right now, but we'll wait for the deployment, so I can work on my intro and my countdown again. And yeah, so yeah, next. Oh yeah, 7th of May, Falcon 9 Block 5. I will definitely will be hosting that if I can. If it is in the afternoon, I can. Wait, let me see. Thursday and Friday is also a free day for me. So let me check when it is. It's the 7th. It's Monday. Does anyone know when? I'm gonna host it, definitely. So if you want to see me blabbing about, probably it won't be on the 7th. I think it will, because they yesterday evening they did the static fire. So they rolled it back into the hangar. It will take about 2 days. So tomorrow they will finish integrating the payload and fairing, so they can roll it out on the pad in time. Depends on the weather though, but I think it's okay. SpaceX said it was a successful static fire, so they have reviewed the data. But anyway, those engines were already tested separately. Then they were integrated onto the stage, and then the stage was tested again. So if SpaceX says it's okay, I don't think there's any problem holding it back. And it first was scheduled to launch on Friday the 4th, but why would it be very impressive? Because there are 3 days between the static fire and the launch, so they have it mostly takes them 2 days to integrate the payload, maybe even less, and then they have an extra day, and then they launch. Everyday Astronaut. If you want to watch Everyday Astronaut, I don't care, but I can go, I think, more in depth if you ask me something about the rocket than Everyday Astronaut does. No dilemma, Arco. Yeah, thanks, guys. They haven't confirmed it for the 7th. Yeah, that's true, but well, no, they haven't confirmed it via a tweet or something, but there is a NOTAM out for the 7th. There is a no-fly zone somewhere and a no-go zone for boats on the 7th. So there's no logic in saying putting that out for the 7th and then launching on the 8th. Gonna. I haven't looked at the weather updates though. That's true. Let me check. Um. Like this. Yeah, it would have been worth the wait, definitely. Let me refresh this because it's not on here. There was a NOTAM out, by the way. Well, yeah, but 70% go is a lot. Oh, right now also the dragon is coming back. So I just saw noticed. Whoa, block 5 is still on the pad. Yeah, 70% is fine. Yeah, that's. Well, Simon, you might be right. I just opened Twitter and I saw the that block 5 is still vertical. It's not gone horizontal. So we might have any extra delay or a second static fire, which would be pretty cool, but weird. You know your rockets, bro. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. But block 5 will be interesting. The lags they have. So we're about 15 minutes from liftoff. It's more about hype and keywords. Yeah, it is. Um. So yeah. Keep I'm going. Yeah, will come. Yeah, it will. But the Falcon Block 5 will have retractable legs. So normally they would take the barge back into port, and then they had to take off the legs because they couldn't like retract them. Right now, those legs that are on the Falcon 9 will be retractable. So once they deploy it, when they recover it, they will probably just lift it up, retract those legs, put it down, race to the launch platform, put another second stage and a on it, roll it out, static fire it, roll it back in, put the payload on, and then put it out and launch it, which will be pretty cool. They don't have to take anything off, which will save them time. Please show us the rocket. Okay, I'm gonna look, or actually, no, all the NASA media are streaming this. So yeah. So right now the um, so I think you all know the booster numbers were located in between those legs. Right now that part is black. So they have the grid fins, and if you look at the photos of the Block 5, you will see the grid fins and not centered, but slightly to the for you for a slight if you look at it slightly to the right. So I'm pointing it left, but it's slightly to the right. You will have the booster numbers. Oh yeah, there we have it. So right now it's still holding that barbecue roll, and it will SLS BFR or BFR. If they launch SLS, SLS will launch first. Well, depends. If we say BFR, BFS is a BFS, so the ship is part of BFR, which they will be, or hopefully they will be doing hops next year. If you count that as a launch, then BFR will launch first. Or BFS, BFR. Same thing. Same system. BFS will launch first. That's definitely. Yeah, but it also gives jobs and blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah, it had a short hiccup, I think. Yeah, but it still is Elon time, and uh, I'm not sure. Hmm. Okay, let me check. Sorry, guys. No, it's still okay. Oh, they do have thrusters. Okay, I didn't know that. So they will do the same trajectory corrections as the. I was wondering. So they were indeed sorry, Simon. I told you they did have engines, but they can change their orientations with the thrusters and um, they um, they can change their trajectory, but they don't have enough power to get into orbit of Mars. So they won't do an orbital injection, but they will correct their trajectory. But they don't have a lot of power to correct the. Hmm. Oh yeah, there you can see it's actually all miniaturized, but it's deployable, so it will have a fairly big antenna when it launches, but when they are going to launch, are there thrusters Hall effect? No, they're not. They're probably just cold gas thrusters. They don't have enough power to have a Hall effect thrusters. So right now, when they deploy, they will have a D-spin mode. So they will control they will de-spin themselves and hold their attitude. They will deploy their solar panels as us first, and that's because they are um, I know to no, I think I think they're just plain nitrogen thrusters, not nitrogen dioxide. That's used as an oxidizer or as a pressurizing gas. I think no, it's not. It's only used as oxidizer. They they use nitrogen dioxide is not used as a propellant. They use plain old nitrogen, or maybe they have hydrazine thrusters, but I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up for you. Hmm. So yeah, yeah, first interplanetary eclipses. Yeah, they are. Oh, there you have it. So what it's doing right now, it's firing its um, the yellow sort of flames you see, it's firing its RCS, which is settling propellant. So when the engine was cut off, the fuel started to float around in the tanks. And if you try to start the engine now, you are basically when you start up the turbo pumps, you just run air into the turbo pumps, and you will destroy the turbo pumps and thereby your engine. So what they do is they just fire those RCS thrusters for a good few minutes before um, um, they start the burn. But what it does, it accelerates the spacecraft just a little, so all the fuel goes to the bottom of the tanks. And when they do it, there's still fuel in the lines, and it settles all the fuel and all the, um, to the bottom of the tanks, and all the air goes up again. So uh, when they do it for a few minutes, so they're sure there's only fuel in their fuel lines and in their at the bottom of their tanks. Then they will start it up. They have a pre-burn, which is basically they feed off a little bit of fuel, a little bit of oxidizer to a mini combustion chamber, which combusts the fuels. Then it goes to the turbo pumps. It starts up the turbo pumps, and they have a oxidizer pre-start, I think. So that means it, or the outgas or the gas that comes off the turbo pumps is fed into the engine again, and that's why you see there's a shame there's such a lag between us messaging you and you seeing our messages YouTube. Yeah, I think I saw 20 seconds now. I could get it lower, but your quality will get lower, and I don't really think there should be a low quality stream for you guys. You guys deserve high quality high quality stream, and so yeah, that's why it is. I could turn it down. I could put it on immediately, but probably the stream would go down to 330p. 360p. I will get. So yeah, they will pre-start it, which means letting the oxidizer, so the oxygen and the exhaust from the turbo pumps go through the nozzle. It will have an extra sort of acceleration, and then they will open up all the valves, and then the engine fires. So yeah, 4-minute burn, and then they will be on their way to Mars. And if you are wondering what happens after the launch, they will depressurize the stage. So first they will vent all the leftover fuel. They will put open what are those valves called? I don't know. They will just that's what they call the blowdown atop in your bar. They will vent all the fuels through the vent valves that are on the outside of the rocket. Then they will vent all the helium that's on the rocket, and yeah, then it's end of mission. They will also discharge the batteries. I don't know how they do it that quickly, but they will discharge the batteries, and then it's end of mission. The So what you hear, they despinned it, and right now they are firing the RCS to settle all the fuel to the bottom. You will first see a blue flame. That's the pre-start. That's the hydrogen or oxygen that's flowing through the engine as together with exhaust from the combustion for the pre-burner, which is the feeds gas to the turbines. Short circuit. I don't know. They might do short circuit, which so yeah, they feed the hydrogen and the exhaust from the pre-burner into the combustion chamber right now. And Lux pre-start is they are adding the oxygen. Guys, I don't see any other flame. Yoo-hoo! Fire it! No? Guys? Oh, we have start. Ha ha ha. He ha. So, okay, I was getting scared. So what they do is they fire it again. You. Bro, I think this pre-start lasted this long because they were had to be sure all the fuel was settled to the bottom. And as you hear him call out, it's oxidizer rage. So the center is controlling its fuel mixture a little bit. So fuel, yeah. And as you can see, it's above Russia right now. So yeah, we have a 4-minute burn. You can't hear the guy. Okay. Let me fix this. Probably I was talking through it. It's not really loud. And for tonight's stream, I'm gonna fix my double screens, so you don't have to see me twiddling with my settings. Oh, you want to see telemetry? Oh, sorry guys. Oh my, oh. Sorry. Okay, let me move this. Up and away, yeah. Sure. Whee, there we go. You should have told me earlier. Then I could have adjusted it earlier, but anyway, you can see it now. They should have done it in meters per second and kilometers. But hey, American company, American measures, or American um, measurements. Like, I forgot the word, but you know what I mean. So what do you think is underneath Mars? Like, what the interior of Mars looks like? Yeah, there we go. And it's on a escape trajectory. We have Miko. Yeah. I think the interior of Mars looks like uh, I don't know. I think it really resembles the Earth, but differently. If you know what I mean. I think it has the same layers except for inner and outer core. I think it's just a single core. But if it's solid or liquid, I don't know. I think it's solid, but I don't know. That's why they're gonna find out. Have you seen the movie Mars Needs Moms? Yeah, I've seen it. I can't really remember the ending, but I've seen it. Yes. And there we go. Now it's readjusting its attitude for its uh, for deployment, and it's spinning up again for same reason barbecue roll. Are hiding beneath the surface. Um, I think, in my opinion, I think we're gonna find petrified microbes. Yes, for sure. No, no aliens there. I don't believe in them being this close. Will it spin? Yeah, it will spin up before deploying. And that has every rocket does it because when it spins up, it sort of works like a gyroscope. It has a one axis which is stable, so it will keep rotating around that axis. So if they have a sort of um, slightly off or not equal separation force, so if you don't spin out, will just go in an uncontrolled spin. And if it spins up around the axis, so like the axis that goes from the heat shield to um, the cruise stage, they will spin around it, and its gyroscopic stability. It will keep stable. break it. What break it? We don't we don't want to break it. But yeah, if they have an uncontrolled spin, sometimes they can't recover from it. So yeah, I just was sent a file for a rocket, and yeah, I'm gonna build it today, and I'm not gonna. So yeah, I'm a test builder now. I still need to build my my own Omega rocket, but I'm pretty sure it's okay. Whee! So why are if you're wondering the TDRS they were pointed out all through the trajectory. They are relaying the data from the stage to mission control basically. Yeah, I don't know if there's there could be, but it's so bare and we haven't really found them at the surface. But maybe deeper down they are. I'm going to finish my Dragon V2 this weekend. Yay! I really want to see your pictures. It will look cool. I hope I'm going to finish the Delta 4 today. Oh, and I can show you. I think it's it's right the right time. So. Okay, it's tangled. Shite. Okay. Eh. No. Houston, we have a problem. Okay. This is my flying model. Okay. This is gonna be my flying model. Only the top needs to be finished. I'm gonna fly it. I hope next weekend, otherwise in a few weeks, but stay tuned for that. Follow me on Twitter and I will definitely post it on YouTube. So, yeah. Rocket. Rocket? And I've already tested it under parachute. I did a drop test. I'm gonna do a drop test again today. I will film it. Oh, we are coming up on separation. Yes, let's go. Let's separate these. Where's the payload? It's not finished yet. I need to finish it. Okay. Oh, yay! Inside separation. No, no, no. We can't clap. We have to keep Aryan spaces. Wait. We need to wait for the other two to separate before we can clap. Hold your applause. I saw you applauding. Hold your applause. Applauding. Yay! Deployment. And quick spin for Marco B deployment. There we go. A few seconds. Now we have. Now we can applaud. Yay! So. Thanks for watching, guys. Again. And yeah, we can applaud now. Lighting. In about, wait, let me see. May, June, July, August, September. 5 months. About 5 months. A little longer. January, February, April, May, Juni, Juli, Augustus, September, October, November. May, Juni, Juli, Augustus, September. A little more than 5 months. So yeah, good trajectory. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next stream tonight. I think I'm gonna start a little bit early. Depends on when I finish dinner, but I will start early. We'll put it on Twitter again, and yeah, see you in the next one at Astra to the Stars.